Hello and welcome to the Rambling RunOff Podium Show edition. I am your host, Robert Rios, once again coming back at you with another Podium Show. And in this week's edition of the Podium Show, we will be talking about the MLS opening season. And this will also be a preview of the opening season. So yeah, buckle up. We're going to be talking about Major League Soccer, of course. And joining me today in this version of the Podium Show is my good old friend from college, my other co-host back in the day, Mr. Jeremy Gonzalez. Jeremy, say what's up to the people.
What is up, people? It is such a pleasure to be on the show, Robert. Thanks for having me on, and I'm super excited to get this going. Feels like old times, man.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, so just to give people, not before we give context on the show again, really quick. So the point of the Podium Show, we talk about the one thing that's popping in the sports world right now. MLS just started this past weekend, so we're gonna be diving right back into it. But to continue on with what Jeremy was saying, yeah, we still host another podcast at our old stomping grounds of Cal State University Dominguez Hills, which we've both proudly graduated from not too long ago. We used to host a show there called the Bulletin Sports Report, where we talked about all things Cal State Dominguez Hills athletics and other sports as well. But yeah, I mean, how long did we do that show for? Like a year or so?
It was a good run. It was about it was somewhat consistent. It was about, I want to say, like 16 months, 15 months. So it was good. It was a good run.
Yeah, I mean, I do miss our days there, but hey, I got us a new podium to hop onto, so
that's right.
I feel like we're doing good. Kinda.
No, I feel it.
But before we start talking more and for our main topic, I mean, would you like to tell us a little about yourself? I know you've been on our show once or twice before.
I have.
I mean, how have you been? Can you let the people know a little bit about yourself here? You got the stand.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, let me hop on the podium really quick. So it's been quite a busy time in my life for me. I'm working currently 3, almost 4 part-time jobs. This is the post-graduation life. You just got to stay busy with work. But I'm in the sports industry a lot. I'm with the ESPN's radio station, AM 710. And then I'm also with the Galaxy, the LA Galaxy, the 5-time champs of the MLS. So it's been really really busy with all of them in general, trying to secure a full-time, but it's been good being busy. It keeps me looking forward to new things. So aside from that, I try to keep up with soccer, and I try to keep up with just all sports as much as I can on my free time. So that's where it goes.
And what would you say is your favorite sport?
Got to be the global, beautiful game of soccer. There's just nothing in this world that compares to it. It's such a universal language where every country, if you just show up with a soccer ball, there is no language barrier. You just go and you can play. It's great. It's simple, but can get very complicated at the same time, but that's what makes it really fun. It's seeing those chess matches from the really good teams up against each other, and makes for really entertaining TV, which I think the MLS is growing. It's hard for the league to compete with football and basketball here, but it'll grow. Its time will come, and it's just fun to be a part of the growth right now.
It's so nice. He said it twice, so I had to ask him. But yeah, Jeremy's a big sports nut like myself, so I had to bring up one of my other homies on here. But yeah, I'm glad you had some time to join me for this episode. So I'm glad you're here. But I think I ask you a question. Are you ready to start the rambling on the podium?
I am ready to ramble like there's no tomorrow, man. So let's get to the rambling.
Well, there is a tomorrow. Could we both work?
You're right, but I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll still ramble today and tomorrow.
All right, for sure. And yeah, for today's podium, we'll be rambling about the MLS opening weekend and previewing the season as well. So let's start let's ramble on the podium. But yeah, like I said, Major League Soccer, they just had their opening week. Me and Jeremy we were able to watch some games. And yeah, just to go, I guess, give an overview of this. What is this? The 26th season, 27th season of the MLS?
Season number 27.
7? Yeah, and in the 27th edition of the league, there are now 28 clubs with the inclusion of Charlotte FC, who will debut to their home fans on March 5th under lights at Bank of America Stadium against the 5-time MLS Cup winning champions LA Galaxy at 7:30 p.m. on Fox in front of an expected crowd of 74,000. If they do reach this number, this will set an all-time attendance record for the MLS, breaking the previous holder of 72,548 set on August 3rd, 2019, when the Galaxy also visited Atlanta United at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. In addition, Nashville SC will be opening the largest soccer-specific stadium in the United States, more than 30,000 fans, and will be the 23rd MLS stadium built or renovated with soccer in mind. And with that, we now have 34 teams in the league. Actually, no, this is the 28th campaign of the league, sir. Not 27. You lied, sir.
Okay, so I'm sorry
You were
about
off
that.
by a year, and you made me sound dumb all the way at the end.
I was trying to do the math. Okay, now I look dumb. Thanks.
No, I look dumb because I just said that so beautifully, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I wrote it down somewhere, and yeah, it's right here. 28th campaign of the league.
You know what else? There are not 34 teams in the
What do
league.
you? Yes, there is.
You just said Charlotte was the 28th.
No,
Okay.
I meant to. Yeah, I know. I misspoke. That's why I'm like, wait, I said that wrong. It's 28th inaugural campaign for the league, and now there are 34 teams in the league. Check yourself.
What are the other 6 teams?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we don't have over 30 teams. Charlotte is the 28th club.
Are you sure?
You just said Charlotte is the 28th club.
Okay, so how many teams do we have?
So Charlotte is number 28. We have St. Louis next season, who's going to be number 29.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure the commissioner, Don Garber, is probably going to announce it. I think Las Vegas is probably going to be number 30. That's just a guess on my part. I think Las Vegas would be the next city to get an MLS side. And then teams 30 to 34 are still unknown. But it's funny that you did bring up that number 34, though, because I read an article on The Athletic that said that Don Garber was possibly looking into going over the 30 team.
I think
league.
he is too.
Yeah. And I think 34 would actually be a really good number to cap at. And I feel like I said, right in the beginning when I was talking about, what I've been up to, I think the league is really expanding to a lot of different horizons. And I think there's just a couple more cities, like major US cities, that could probably use an MLS team. I think Las Vegas is one. San Diego could probably use a MLS team, but I think 34, like you said, would be a good number to hit.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. When you try to sound professional and you goof up, I meant to put there are 34 games in the season.
Okay, that is spot on. You got the number right.
I got the number right. I just wrote my notes wrong for some reason. But anyways, yeah. We've already done game number 1. But is there anything else you want to speak of in regards to what's new this season?
There's new faces in different places, and unintentionally that rhymed. So that was cool.
We'll get that. We'll get to that later in the show. But yeah. Opening week was this past weekend, and we had a lot of good games. There was like maybe 1 or 2 duds out there, but I feel like overall it was a good showing for the league. A lot of good games because they were kind of more or less back and forth or routes, whatever your preference was. But yeah, the first game of the season was a draw, but I mean, it was a good game. You had a Minnesota at Philadelphia, which Philadelphia not too long ago were Supporters Shield champions. And I mean, I saw the highlights of it. It looked like a pretty competitive game. Considering I believe Minnesota scored the first goal and Philly tied it up late, but I know that Philadelphia crowd they were hankering for a game-winning goal, but it never came. Vancouver went out to Columbus at Lower.com field, got destroyed by Columbus 0-4. Colorado also got goose egged by LAFC with a Carlos Vela hat trick. Do you think he's going to have a good season?
I think he is going to have a phenomenal season as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, because I feel like without him, they're nothing. And with the new head coach at the helm, what's his name? Steve Cherundolo.
Yes.
They got to show out. The next game on the Saturday stack of games, we had Toronto at Dallas. The game ended 1-1. I guess without Pepe, Dallas is gonna have to try to find goals from somewhere else. They did pick up Paul Arriola, which is, in my opinion, a big name in the MLS, so that was a good pickup for them. Cincinnati, oh man, dude, Cincinnati went out to Austin to go up against the Verde, and they lost 5-0 in not dramatic fashion. It was just fashion.
It was a shellacking. It
was like, bro, our expectations were very low for you, but come on, guys. Like I mentioned in the opening, Charlotte, what are they being called? Charlotte FC, also lost in their inaugural game on the road at DC United, lost 3-0. Chicago, the only game that ended as a draw with 0 goals, a scoreless game, was Chicago at Miami. Two struggling clubs, one team that's been around since like 98, another team that's only been around for like 2 years. Both teams struggling to generate any type of offensive creativity or any type of offense in that matter. Ended with goose eggs on the board. Then we go out to the West Coast where New York defeated San Jose 3-1. I believe the score was 2-1 at some point late in the game, but Red Bulls were able to tack on another point, or another goal, I should say. And to close out the Saturday slate of games, New England was at Portland, where Jeremy, you say you were able to see some of this game?
I saw the full game, the start to finish.
The whole game. And
it did.
In 3 words, or in a few words, I should say, how was this game?
Extremely entertaining, to say the least. I know it's a 2-2 draw. I know both teams probably are kicking themselves for not coming away with all 3 points, but the effort on both sides easily showed why they're going to be contenders in their respective conferences. Portland just hosted the MLS Cup, a couple months ago, and their performance showed that they could probably be in the playoffs and make some noise again. And New England got a couple new players. They're trying to compete for that Eastern Conference, one of the top seeds, but they look good. They look really good. So overall, really entertaining game.
For New England, they just picked up Josie Altidore, and they were able to trade for Sebastian Legit, who got onto the score sheet. But that Jimmy Charo bicycle kick, though, to tie up the game, come on, man.
Early goal of the year candidate. Has to be.
I mean, I want to say it wasn't the cleanest, and I feel like, all right, it wasn't the cleanest in my opinion, but I feel like it looked too easy.
Yeah, it wasn't well struck. And I'm one to talk about technique as if I can pull off a perfect bicycle kick, but I've seen professionals hit the ball better in the air. But I think what's more impressive is that he plucked it out of the air. That took a deflection, I believe. He was at the right place, right time, got in position, and nailed it into the bottom corner. So in that sense, I take my hat off to him because that was impressive to some sense.
Because I feel like the way he struck it, he didn't strike it with power. He struck it with pure contact in which the ball like hit the top of his foot and it did like that weird like sailing, like it spun slash like floated where like the goalie was like, oh, is it gonna go in? And yeah, it went like it sailed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't clean contact, but hey, he scored it. So, and the attempt was a bicycle kick.
No,
So, I
yeah.
mean,
Like it wasn't the quality of a bicycle kick like a Wayne Rooney or a Ronaldo.
true.
So I mean, hey, it helped tie the game up, but it is what it is. I
They came
mean,
away with the tie, like you said. So, I
no,
mean,
yeah.
that was the point.
Now just come home, get a draw at least. But I mean, is there any other games from Saturday that you were able to watch, or if you the
So,
highlights for?
the other one that I saw a good chunk of was the LAFC game and the Austin game, which I know both ended, LAFC was 3-0, Austin was 5-0. So I just want to talk about LAFC for a quick second. I know Carlos Vela's contract is up in June. That is a really big talking point because he's such an important player, not just for LAFC, but for the league. He's one of the faces of the entire league. And it's great to see him healthy because when he's healthy and going, it's really good it's good for LAFC, but it's really good for the league because you get to see the superstars performing to the level that they're expected to. And they're really fun to watch when it gets to that point. It wasn't that long ago that Carlos Vela put up video game numbers and had 34 goals in an MVP season like we've never seen before. So as long as he can stay healthy for LAFC, I think the team always has a chance to win. And we saw that when he scored his hat trick in the very first game. I understand it's Colorado. They're going on a downward slope at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, not doing very well. And they didn't do much to reinforce their team in the offseason. But this was a statement win for LAFC, and I thought that was really important for them, especially because they have a first-time head coach. Or a new head coach, I should say. And then I'm really happy for Austin because I know that in the games that I saw last season, I thought the environment and the atmosphere at the stadium it always looked pretty great.
Dude, Austin is popping right now.
Yeah, it looks like a fun stadium to be in and watch a game. And I know that the fans were craving goals. They showed up, they were singing, they were chanting a lot. They didn't get a lot of goals last season. So to see them come out 5-0 opening game, I think that I felt really good for them, and I know it's Cincinnati. It's one of the worst teams in MLS, but I think to start off with the 5-0 win, I don't think many clubs could ask for a better score, so I thought that was good for them. I like the Verde and Black, hoping that they do well this season.
I mean, if you're going to be playing Cincinnati, you better win.
Yeah, you're expected, if it's high score, maybe.
No, yeah, you better be expecting a W coming out from there. But yeah, I mean, for me, I was able to, yeah, I mean, I already said mine. Mine was the Minnesota-Philadelphia game. I think I just like watching Philadelphia play. They always have good crowds that go out. I love me some doop, doop, doop. So, I don't know. You can never beat that. And I was kind of hoping Charlotte would be good, but just like how their coach said in Spanish, we're screwed.
I think that's an understatement. I'm really happy for Charlotte. It's always good to see an expansion team coming in because that means the league is growing. But I thought that the way they tried to construct their roster was a little bit unique in the sense. I think one of their DPs is a goalie. That's kind of unheard of in MLS. I think
you want to hear about that, but I'm not sure. I would have to double check.
I would, yeah. I think it's a DP or it's one of their international, like big international players.
They had a guy signed, but he got hurt in like the EPL or in the championship. And then they had two other guys that were going to sign, but they all both caved in. So I feel like they had a lot going for them, but a lot of their deals didn't fall in line. So yeah, they're gonna have to wait if they're gonna have a good team. I mean, it was cool on them for the owners and I guess the creative team behind the club, like renovating the stadium, naming the team and whatnot, but it looks like they're gonna be another. Okay, there's no way they're gonna be like Cincinnati, but on with what's happening right now, unless they come out swinging against the Galaxy, I highly doubt this team is gonna make any noise right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I think it's great
Especially
that,
with those high ticket prices.
yeah, I mean, those ticket prices they're in demand, And okay, so here's another thing. So I was listening to the Extra Time podcast on the MLS, okay? And so
You're only supposed to listen to Rambling Runoff.
okay, I'm sorry, I cheated on you. You can, I'll buy you lunch and I'll treat you out to something later. Anyways,
All right, deal.
all right. So on the podcast, though, one of them was at the DC United and Charlotte game. And so obviously DC won 3-0. The home fans were all super excited, super happy. They were cheering. So the group of Charlotte fans that was in attendance at the game was applauding the team, just for their effort for playing, a good game. And that podcaster said that the Charlotte fans were just as loud, if not louder, than the DC United fans who were celebrating a 3-0 win. Okay, that's just how excited. What? Yeah, that's how excited the city is to have an MLS team. So that got me thinking, like, man, next week's game against the Galaxy, 74,000 people just at the Bank of America Stadium. That all side note, that's where the Carolina Panthers play. So for all the NFL listeners, you've already seen that stadium. But 74,000,
it did get renovated, slightly renovated.
I did. So, but think about that, 74,000 fans. That is going to be such a great soccer environment for their first game. So I think that's going to be exciting for them. That'll be a good point, a highlight of their season, but I don't think there'll be too many of those with how the team's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to be a 1998 Chicago Fire or a Atlanta United or an LAFC. Like, I like how okay, I don't like that every year we get new teams because I feel like it just dilutes the quality and community aspect of MLS soccer, if that makes any sense. But I do like how it does how the expansion teams do differentiate the quality of an organization and creating a team and a community in which, you want a United or LAFC, like, or look at Atlanta United, big stadium and they won. LAFC, small stadium and they kind of won. And look at Cincinnati, small stadium, but they suck. I mean, the people still show up, but you could tell the difference. I mean, unless Cincinnati's trying to be like a Minnesota who sucked but got better. But, that takes time. Like, Minnesota invested time in building a stadium than building a team, and it's kind of paid off. They've made a few playoff appearances. I think they almost made it, if I remember correctly, they almost made it to the MLS Cup in 2019 or no, 2020. I think they played Seattle in the Western Conference Final, in which they did. Yeah, they lost to Seattle in the Western Conference Final. So you could do that, but I feel like it's been a while for Cincinnati, so they need to turn this around like really, really quick because there's something going around. This is what I meant. Like, this is what I meant by the expansion teams are just diluting the quality. Because you tell me that you're bringing in all these teams like Cincinnati, like a fairy tale club, playing in the lower league divisions, finally getting to the USL Championship League, and they were good there. They had large crowds at Nippert Stadium where Cincinnati football team plays at college. Large crowds showing up, win, lose or draw. Large crowds at US Open Cup against Chicago Fire, which was great. They beat them that time. And then now it's like they're just squandering at the bottom of the Eastern Conference table and drowning and dying in the overall MLS table. So something's up. I mean, if Charlotte doesn't get their shit together, they're gonna be really screwed, and they're gonna be in hell for a while.
Could be a long season for them too. So I mean, it's gonna be something to watch.
I mean, they sounded like they knew what they were doing. They were gonna renovate the stadium. They had I don't remember the organizers or the owners' names off the top of my head, but it sounded like they had the right football people in mind. Like they knew what they were doing. You know, the reason why they fixed the stadium was because they wanted a proper football, soccer amenities for the team and for the fans. But you know, everyone can't be Atlanta United, so I don't know what to tell you there. But anyways, enough of this new team that may or may not win, because we still got one more day. There's 2 days of MLS soccer, by the way, if you didn't know. There was also games on Sunday, which started off with Montreal at Orlando, where Orlando defeated Montreal. I was gonna say the Montreal Impact Club de Foot Montreal, as they are now known, because they changed their name last season for some reason. What's his name? Alexander Pato. I believe he scored the opener to give Orlando the opening lead. They were able to get the second. I forgot who it was. There's 2 red cards, both on each team. I'm forgetting the guy's name. I think he plays for like Honduras or something. He used to play for Houston. Cantero. I forgot his name.
I don't know who you're thinking of off the top, but
he used to play for Houston. It was Quintero or something. He got a red card because the defender for Orlando got up into his face like, "Yeah, what's up, bro?" And then he kind of like pushed him, and then the Orlando guy's teammate came to like walk up to Quintero like, "Hey man, relax." And then Quintero like double hand pushed him, and then the other dude fell down in quotations in pain, in which the referee had to give him a red card because he like tried to like butt heads with the other guy, and then he pushes the other guy. He's like, "All right, you're gone." But then a couple minutes later, the same dude that got up into Quintero's face got a red because he like kind of like shouldered the dude and was like, "Bro, like you set yourself up." But Orlando took the dub that day. In other games, Kansas City went down to Atlanta, in which they lost 3-1. Dude, going on the score sheet for Atlanta, Dom Dwyer, who scored, I believe, the second.
Did you see his goal?
Yeah, it was a banger.
That was a great goal. I think that was his first goal since like 2019. I believe.
Yeah.
So
I know he spent some time in Orlando, but his home will always be Kansas City, in which he didn't really celebrate because respects to them. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but I know Atlanta just had I think it was like
17-year-old who made his MLS debut.
Yeah, he made his debut. He got the third goal for them. Who scored the first one? Were you able to capture that? I saw the
first one was I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Luis Araujo.
No, they're not saying Araujo. It's like Arujo or something.
Okay, I'm super sorry for butchering the name.
Like if you're saying like Cujo, like the dog.
So okay, Luis Arujo, I think if that's how you say it.
Like imagine like you're speaking like Portuguese or something like Arujo. Okay.
Something
like I don't know.
We'll go with that. So he got the first goal. I know Joseph Martinez assisted on that play.
Yeah, it was like a chip, and then that Arujo guy chipped it over the goalie. But he had to get helped off the field because he started limping right after he scored the goal.
Pulled his hamstring.
Oh, they have like the Enya over the U.
I don't even know how to pronounce
Bro,
that.
Okay, that's why we paused. He was about to say it.
I don't even want to take a crack
at that. It's not Rajo, but it's some sort of Latin name. But okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
By the way, the 17-year-old's name, he scored in the 89th minute. His name's Caleb Wiley. I think he's 17.
I believe he is a Atlanta native, if I'm not mistaken.
Most likely. He's probably a homegrown player.
Yeah, which congrats to him. That's a huge moment to score for your hometown club. Season opener. Stadium. Yeah, big stadium. I mean, that's.
I believe they had 60,000 at Mercedes-Benz.
Unreal soccer environment.
I know. Who would have thought out of all the damn places, Atlanta?
They're
They can't
passionate.
even. They can't even have. They can't even have an NHL team, or even they can't even have an NBA team. Yes, we know the Braves won, but come on, when are the Braves going to be good again? Let's be honest.
This was, I don't know. Who knows?
Not to
about
get
that?
sidetracked. Not to get sidetracked, but
Different sport, same
yeah.
result.
Anyways, 3-1 to Atlanta. The other game that me and you were able to attend, actually in person. If you follow us on Instagram, I posted a pic or two there. New York City Football Club, the MLS defending champs, were at the 5-time MLS Cup champions LA Galaxy, were the Galaxy in the 89th/90th minute of the game. Javier Chicharito Hernandez scored the game-winning goal to give the Galaxy a 1-0 win over the Pigeons of New York.
Chicharito doing Chicharito things. What else is new for the Galaxy?
I mean, the game, in my opinion, was somewhat of a dud. I mean, I was slightly. I mean, I had a few Modelos here and there.
A few?
Modelo time, foo.
A few. I
But
did see that.
From what I was watching, I mean, there was like an early chance from New York in which Jonathan Bond stopped. I think his name's Marlowe. Okay, I don't know how to say his name. But there was the early header like in the second minute in which Bond was able to stop. There was a lot of stoppages in the game. There's a lot of not a lot of fouls, but the ref was stopping the game a lot, so it kind of killed the flow. I don't want to say it was a boring game. I want to say it was slightly competitive, but it could have been better. Douglas Costa made the starting lineup. He showed his creative prowess. It looked like he worked pretty well with Julian Araujo. And I feel like Cabral could have been more involved in the game. But yeah, Chicharito, I mean, he was about to have a fit on the field when they lost possession of the ball, but kudos to what's his name, Raheem Edwards. You know, not giving up on the play, stole the ball back, passed it on to Chicharito, who made the defender go to sleep.
Oh, he slid into next week.
Yo, he juked them.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
And Chicharito just did what he had to do and put it top shelf where Sean Johnson couldn't get it.
Too much power.
And he got the win for them. I mean, New York did respond by Herber. Okay, like his name's spelled like Herber.
Herber?
Yeah. Or I think I don't think you say the H, but
Herber, yeah. We'll go with that.
Had an open shot towards the end, but he shot it wide, which kind of gave me a panic attack.
Just wide of the post. Yeah, I know this.
I mean, it was pretty wide, but I feel like it's because Bond stretched his hand out, but on one of the angles of his, it wasn't even a shot on goal. I think New York only had one shot on goal. The shot or his attempt on goal went wide, but it still kind of bent towards the goal. I was like, bro, I thought it bounced off the pole from where my angle was. That's why I was like, oh man, that was too close. But no, yeah, he shot it pretty wide. But yeah, the Galaxy came up on top with 1-0 lead. Or win. Why are you saying lead? And I mean, not to stay on that game, but let me move on really quick. There was Salt Lake at Houston. I mean, we had all these exciting games. They all had goals. I mean, besides the Chicago and Miami game. But I want to say this is probably the boringest game out of all of them. Considering we had Chicago and Miami, who sucked. Salt Lake and Houston ended 0-0, but there was a lot of yellow cards. There was at least, I think I counted like 7 or 8 yellow cards in this game.
Really? Did you get a chance to see that game?
No, but I saw the highlights and I kept skipping, and every other couple seconds there was a yellow card being given out. I was like, bro. Yeah, I was like, bro, what's going on? And yeah, it ended 0-0. There's nothing to it, in my opinion. I mean, you could tell Salt Lake is really missing, what's his name? Rusnak,
who took off to Seattle, who we're just about to talk about. Speaking
of Seattle, we're defeated at home against Nashville. At home. They lost to Nashville, who probably has the best defense right now.
Honestly, I think Nashville is a really underrated team. Did you know that they went undefeated at home all last season?
Yes, I did know that because they tied a lot and they had a lot of shutouts.
They're a real scrappy team. Not easy to play against. You know, they like to give a lot of teams trouble, and we saw that this past weekend when they defeated Seattle on the road. So, props to Nashville for pulling off the upset.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked. I even looked at the crowds in the highlight video, and there wasn't a lot of people. But considering it's Seattle, it's still kind of wintertime. It's still kind of windy and rainy out there, so not a lot of people were out there.
Yeah, weather's terrible.
But when spring comes around, the rave green gonna show up. So I'm pretty sure Seattle. I mean, it's probably just a bump in the road for Seattle. So I I don't expect this to be a big deal for the team.
I agree with you. I think it's a blip. They're also just coming off of the CONCACAF Champions League midweek.
That's true.
So it shows, you know. So I know you were probably going to mention this a little bit later, but all the teams that competed in the CONCACAF Champions League, none of them won. 0-4, I believe, and -7 goal differential in all their games, and one draw.
I think it was the New England one, but they didn't even play, so
yeah,
their game got canceled. CONCACAF going to CONCACAF.
Yeah, but just goes to show you that it's extremely difficult to balance the two tournaments, or the two different types of games, I should say, at the same time. I like I said, I think it's a blip for Seattle. They have one of the most talented rosters, if not the most talented roster.
They probably have the best roster in MLS,
and yeah, in the entire league. I'm fully expecting them to be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. I think they're going to be just fine. I wouldn't look too much into the 1-0 loss.
I mean, speaking of the Western Conference and also the Eastern Conference, for the standings right now, currently in first place for the West in MLS, we got Austin.
Verde and black.
Number 1. Number 2, LAFC. Number 3, Nashville. Number 4, LA Galaxy. Number 5, Portland Timbers. Number 6, Dallas. And number 7 for the playoff positions, to wrap it up, Minnesota. For the top 7 in the East, number 1 right now, surprisingly, I mean, honestly, the surprise win for me, honestly, Columbus getting what was it, the 3-0, 4-0 victory?
4-0, yeah.
They're in first, second, DC, third, New York, Red Bull, 4, Atlanta United, 5th, Orlando, 6th, New England, and wrapping out the top 7 is Philly. So, yeah, those are your standings right now in the league. But I mean, Jeremy, is there anything that caught your eye in these games that you would like to point out?
I just really like, I mean, overall, it's just a good feeling to have MLS back, especially because this is a World Cup year. We're gonna see a lot of big players. We're gonna see not big players, but we're gonna see a lot of big performances from players, because I know the Canadian and U.S. men's national teams are on the verge of qualifying for Qatar later this year. Same thing with Mexico; they're pushing it, and then we might even have a 4th team from the CONCACAF make it to the World Cup, depending on if they win their playoff.
Yeah.
But that would mean that a lot of these players on the MLS rosters would get called up, so that'd be huge. That would not only bring awareness for the league, but that would give these players a chance to shine on the biggest stage in soccer. And I'm expecting this season to be one of the better MLS seasons in recent memory. I know it's a lot to live up to. Expectations are pretty high, but with the number of teams, with the quality of players that have been brought in from overseas and that have been grown in our own academies, it's a lot of positivity that's coming into the sport. And I'm really excited of the direction it's taking. And that starts with this World Cup year, this season right now.
I mean, currently, this first game of the season, the league averaged 23,000 people at all their games. Of course, there are those teams that just never get any crowds looking at you. Dallas, where there's nobody, and it kills the attendance numbers. But I think if I'm looking at the statistic correctly, the highest average attendance for MLS pre-pandemic was 21,000, and I think 23,000 the first weekend. That's pretty good. I'm pretty sure leading up towards the World Cup, people will get more of a soccer fever here in the US. So, yeah, I mean, even what might also happen, my theory is that people from Europe and possibly even South America will be trying to play some more soccer or football very briefly in a foreign league where they could stay in shape, because the European leagues usually end before the summer and the MLS season ends in the winter. So I want to say that some players will want to move around very briefly and play some more soccer. And I think that might happen, and that's going to help the league.
Yeah, I think it's big. I know. So I was actually watching The Shop, which is LeBron's show on HBO. And one of the last episodes, he had David Beckham as a special guest. And so David talked about how a lot of European players really look at the MLS, and they do talk about the league itself. They love that their off season is approximately 3 months, maybe a little more, depending on whether you make the playoffs or not. But they see it as a growing league, and the European players do talk about, coming over to play. Like, we just heard Neymar just recently make the comment that he wants to play in the US at some point.
But he wants to retire here. There's a difference between playing and retiring here.
Well, okay. And even then, I think him towards the end of his career is better than a lot of players at their peak, just because he's such a big caliber superstar who has just a natural talent for the game. But that goes so maybe he's not a good example because of the comment you just made about him retiring, but other superstars do come over when they're not retiring, and
with some prime left in them, with some prime.
Yeah, they still have some left in the tank. It's not they're coming here to retire and then they end their careers.
Like, that stigma is going away now.
It is, and that's a good direction for the league. And I know there are players in Europe who probably do consider coming over here, and I think that's the benefit of the MLS schedule, like you said, because the European leagues are all ending right around summertime, like the end of May, maybe start of June, and MLS is right in the middle of their season. So it makes for an interesting summer transfer window when that kind of does come around.
A couple loans, maybe some new signings. I mean, the ideas are endless. So
yeah, you can pick and choose all different types of scenarios, all different types of teams. And I know that. So here's another thing for you, Robert. Don't know if you knew this, but the current TV deal for the MLS is supposed to end, I think, at the end of this year, at the end of 2022.
Yes.
So if the league is able to secure a really rich TV deal, kind of like NBA, maybe NFL, I mean, those broadcasting rights, those deals that we've seen from those two leagues are so rich.
Let's say like an NHL on ESPN Plus.
Okay, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So right now, the TV deal for the MLS, I think fifth or sixth, like richest, which isn't even a lot.
And that's divided between Fox, ESPN, and Univision. And
exactly.
Partially TSN in Canada.
Exactly. So, but this next TV deal that they're supposed to get would probably be, I think they're going to estimate it's 3 times more lucrative than the one that we currently have. And they're saying that if they can secure a deal of this magnitude, that would mean that all the MLS teams get more revenue from TV, which means they have more money to spend, which means they're more likely to bring in players from Europe that are not at the end of their careers. They're more likely to bring in big name superstars who are maybe just need a brand new situation, some fresh grass to kind of play on, just to kind of get themselves back with their national teams or whatever, So really big time for the MLS that's going on right now. I'm really expecting them to be in that conversation where they're signing. Maybe they're not on the level of, say, like the English Premier League, but they're maybe more on the level of like maybe the Serie A in Italy, maybe the Portuguese league, maybe to that extent, which I think would be great because
Like
that would
something
mean,
more respectable.
yes, because I think leagues are starting to notice MLS not only as a retirement league, but they're starting to notice us
You
as
mean you mean they're not noticing us as a retirement league?
okay. Let me reword that. So the European leagues are not looking at us anymore just as a retirement league. I think they're starting to notice our potential for the development that we can bring,
There's a
especially to
lot of
some
people
players.
here.
Yeah, there's a lot of academies that are producing really good players. We just saw Ricardo Pepi get sold from Dallas to I think FC Augsburg in the Bundesliga
Yeah,
for
something like that.
what could, if he performs well, it could go up to $20 million, which is unheard of.
He's
You
in a
know,
slump. It's okay. He'll make it back.
it's all right.
He'll
I'm
bounce
sure he
back.
will. Daryl DK went from Orlando to West Brom, in the English. I think they're in the championship right now, but
All
they're
right,
going to
you're 0
get.
for 2 because he's hurt, but okay.
All right. Well, that's the point I'm trying to make, though.
All right, you could have said like Brandon Harrison, but he's like with Norwich and they're in relegation battle right now. So,
but
oh no, Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I think you're thinking of the wrong U.S. player, but
Brandon Harrison's the good one. Okay, no, they're both good, but
yeah, that's besides the point, though. Like, it's clear that the European teams are looking at our league and they're seeing potential superstars or potential impact players, and they're willing to look in our direction for it now, which before that was never even an option. So in that sense, I know that the league is growing, and if we can just continue to trend in that direction, that the growth of the league would just come exponentially, and you would start seeing the bigger superstars, bigger names, more national team players coming over to the US to come play.
yeah, it's just the quality has to get a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, we should be treading in that direction with if we do get good TV. Oh, not we, but if the league does get good TV, or I mean, it's probably gonna be streaming because everything's already on ESPN Plus. It's just a few handful of markets are still under contract. Like for example, LA Galaxy still have their contract with Spectrum, even though right now I guess they're doing like a temporary deal until the league does find a new home, which I want to assume is probably gonna be streaming. It's probably gonna be ESPN Plus or a Fox something or a Hulu, or fingers crossed it better not be no down Paramount Plus, in my opinion, because I can't afford to pay another streaming service.
Same.
But yeah, hopefully this I would say it helps move the league in a way that they don't have to pay or they don't have to do a DP signing as much, in which you could just pay for X player. Or if you're gonna do DP, add another one or add 2, because then you're gonna be able to sign 4 or 5, not just impact or space players, but you're gonna sign 4 or 5 impact or creative or necessary signings for your club, which I think will exponentially help bring the league to a different status into like said we've never seen. Maybe we might skip MLS 4.0. We'll just jump to 5.0.
Maybe you could be right. I think going back to that point that you were making, it's just I feel like the league has to do it. They have like these could be legitimate superstars that can come over here. Like, just think about that. What it would do for revenue for each team, just through sales of jerseys, of tickets, attendance numbers would be up. More people would be watching it on TV from their homes. The number of people who watch it overseas in the UK or in Asia, just overseas in general, like that would increase. There's just so much upside to making a move like what you said, maybe adding another DP spot or maybe adding another 2. It could go a long way. So who knows? We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be big because this all leads up to the 2026 World Cup, which is being hosted here in the US. I think.
Hello, Jeremy. All right, I think we lost Jeremy in our connection, but I think what Jeremy was about to say. Hello. Hey.
Oh, do we got back? Damn,
Yeah,
I
we
cut
lost you there
off.
for a second, but it's all good.
Bummer.
It's okay. We're just recording. I was about to say, I think you're about to say that with the arrival of the 2026 World Cup or 26, right?
Yes.
We are going, soccer will blow up in a way. Yeah, right. In
That's
simple
yeah.
words.
I was going for right now the growth of the league is aiming for that World Cup. And if we could just score something big to where soccer here in the US can blow up just like it did in the 94 World Cup, right before the MLS was created, if we can have another jump like that, we would be up there with the top 5 leagues.
I mean, we could dream.
We could. I sure am dreaming.
I
So
mean, I'm pretty sure it'll probably happen. I mean, I don't know to what magnitude, but I'm pretty sure people are gonna be like, all right, like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like that family, like just to keep it at the lowest of the lowest standard. There's gonna be like a family out there and be like, well, we don't like soccer, but we saw the USA play and the World Cup was here. Let's go to I don't know where would this family live? Pick a city where there's an MLS team.
let's go to New York.
Let's go to a Red Bull game in New Jersey for no reason. But
Why
something
not?
like that, you get what I'm saying? Like of his example like that, like someone that wouldn't usually find interest in the sport would be going.
Exactly.
It'd just be like a new person showing up to a new place. But yeah, I mean, you know, you just gotta wait and see until it happens.
Big times coming for MLS.
Yeah. But speaking of new faces in new places, a lot of new signings did arrive in the MLS. Speaking of what you were saying, like new people coming to the league. Just to point out a few, Lorenzo
Insigne,
Insigne.
Italian international. He's a big name player.
Was he from Napoli?
He is. Yeah, that's his hometown
He
club.
was
He's
from Napoli. He transferred to Toronto because his contract wasn't expired, and it's freaking hilarious because the story is that the manager or the president went on to transfermarket.com and saw that his contract was up, and they saw that they could afford him, and that's how they that's how they hit him up.
yeah. It's
I like how it wasn't even like we scouted him. He's like we just looked him up on the internet and we saw him.
well, okay. So that is how the story started. But they did go scout him at a couple Napoli games, from what I read. Another thing too was they kept an eye on the contract situation because Napoli did offer an extension to him, but Toronto saw that and said we can easily offer more, and we could offer him more playing time. Where he could still be relevant and he could be the face of a franchise. And not only that, just a couple seasons ago, another Italian international by the name of Sebastian Giovinco was just starring for Toronto. And fun fact, Toronto has one of the biggest Italian populations in the world outside of Italy. So that could be another reason why Italians are just drawn to go play for them. But I think this is a huge signing for the league. I believe he just turned 31. He
has like maybe two more years on him.
Of national team relevance, maybe like another year or two, but
yeah,
he's still a really good quality player in Europe and for Napoli.
He's still playing for Napoli, right?
Yeah, his
contract. I saw the highlights. I'm like, man, these guys still suck.
Yeah, no, his contract ends at the end of the season, so he has until the summer, with them, and then he's jumping over to Toronto.
But see, there you go. There's an example of what we were saying earlier.
Exactly. Yeah, but huge signing for them. I think this is going to be another move. Maybe not quite as big as Giovinco. I'm really hoping it's that type of impact, but I might be a little hopeful in asking for that. But it's up there though. It's a really big move for the league.
I mean, I know you get pretty hyped on these. I'm gonna say it, underrated or no-name players from insert your favorite European team from X country. But if you say he's good, I believe you.
I would say he's good. Yeah, I think he's going to be good in the league.
Another guy that moved was Zerdan Curie to Chicago. I think he's from Juventus. No, maybe. Okay.
Not Juve. He used to play for Liverpool.
Okay.
He's played at Bayern Munich. He played what was the other team? Stoke City in the English Premier League. So he's a pretty well known. I think he's from Switzerland. I think he's a really big Swiss player. One of the few players to score a hat trick in the World Cup. So a lot of quality in him.
Yeah, because everyone's saying it's a big deal. I'm like, well, what's going on? I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, so he's on the shorter side. I believe he stands at 5'7", but he is such a quick attacking midfielder. He has really good quality on his feet, is really quick with the dribbling.
Oh, he played for Olympique.
Oh, that's right. Lyon, right? In France? Yeah,
how you say that? Olympique
Lyon.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. But yeah, he's a good quality player. He's also on the same boat as Insigne from Napoli. They're both still big national team players. Still have a couple years on the national team, I think. And this is another big signing for Chicago, who I think has been desperate for a superstar of that level since Bastian Schweinsteiger. A couple years ago.
Dude, they really need a lot of help there. I mean, I'm looking it up again on our notes here. Apparently, the details of the deal were not disclosed, but a rumored source says that the Fire paid a transfer fee of around $7.5 million.
I think that's a good number for Shaqiri. I think so. That sounds about right. If I had to take a guess at a number, I think that's spot on.
Another guy at a new team, Thiago Almeida to Atlanta. I don't know who that is either.
So he came from the Argentinian first division.
Let me guess. Boca Juniors.
No, I believe it was Independiente. I'm not 100%.
You know what? I think you're right, actually.
Yeah. What's funny is for those of you who are a little bit familiar with MLS, Ezequiel Barco was a big superstar for Atlanta, but he was struggling. So they shipped him to River Plate from Argentina, and with
he's from Velez.
Okay, he's from Velez.
I don't know where that's at.
So
Velez Sarsfield.
No idea what's up with that, but I just know that Thiago Almada is another South American upcoming superstar. I know Atlanta United is really big on those South American players. And for good reason. They're usually extremely talented. And there's a lot of I understand that Atlanta broke the transfer fee record. I think it was 16 million to bring this kid over from Argentina. But a lot of upside to him, and they're likely going to develop him into a really, really good player. So we'll see how he fits in. But that's another, I think, under the radar acquisition. I know a lot of analysts are really big on the move. I wish I knew more about Almada to be as hyped about it, but I'll just go ahead and trust the professionals on this one.
Another guy that I kind of heard about, I think he's from Brazil or Portugal, Facundo Torres, who makes a move to Orlando. Do you have any knowledge about this guy, or are you lost in the woods?
I think I'm drawing a bit of a blank. The name sounds really familiar. But I know, again, the analysts are really big on Torres coming over to Orlando. And I think it should be good because him and Bato probably going to make a really good duo out there. And, I mean, Orlando's not a bad team. They have pretty good pieces there.
No, yeah, they've been on the come up. Like I was telling you, I feel like Orlando's the underrated expansion team from 2015. I mean, look where they've come. I mean, they're not – in comparison to New York City, who just won MLS Cup, they've been on the come up as well. I mean, they haven't won nothing, but they've been good. They've looked good. Nani was a very good addition. Kaká helped them run. But I feel like this team has done well. And just to let you know, Mr. Torres is from Penarol. He's 21, and he's signed to a 4-year contract club with an option for 2026. He's from Uruguay, by the way.
There we go. He is the Uruguayan. He's a regular on the national team. already, which was pretty impressive as it was. That's where I've heard him from. But yeah, that is clearly it's a big move. Now I see. Now I remember why.
Because I'm like, who are you, sir? But yeah, moving on with we got like three more on here.
Yeah.
Alan Velasco signed with Dallas. Are you familiar with him?
Not Velasco, but I'm familiar with the other moves Dallas made. They're really spending that Pepe money.
Okay. Or before we move on to the other one, so he's Argentinian. He's a winger. This is who you're thinking of. He's from Independiente.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And MLS has said that it is a club record transfer fee, although I believe it was not disclosed. Let me see. Velasco, 19, debuted for Independiente at 16 years old and has scored 10 goals with 10 assists over 71 appearances since 2019. He has also been a fixture among Argentina's youth national teams. The signing represents a major investment by the MLS club. Various reports have indicated the transfer fee was in the neighborhood of $7 million per quote from an article by ESPN by Kyle Banagura, who is an ESPN staff writer. So yeah, shouts to him.
Okay, so I've been mixing up my players. I know who they are. I've just
terrible
thought they were somewhere else. I know, yeah. Please fire me. But okay, yeah. So Velasco's probably going to be really good in Dallas. Him and the other players that Dallas brought in with that Pepe money, I think are going to be.
You can say really his good. Name now, by the way.
Oh, so the other guy. Okay, so there's two other guys that
two. I thought it was just one. Who was the other guy?
Jesus Ferreira. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's the guy who's supposed to step up and take Pepe's place.
But he's been there.
That's true. But
hey, don't act brand new, bro. Why acting brand new? Don't act brand new. He's not brand new.
He's not brand new.
And you're not brand new either.
He's in line to get regular minutes though. Like now that Pepe is gone.
But you're talking like if he's this is new faces and new places. He's been there, bro.
Ferreira is occupying a young DP spot. That was not the case last year.
Oh god.
That's what makes him different.
Okay, but he's been there. You're not that guy, pal.
Okay, man.
You're not that guy, pal.
Bottom line, okay, Dallas is gonna look good because they added.
Just to let everybody know, we would always argue like this on the
podcast. All the time.
But you're not that guy, bro. You're still not that guy, bro.
Things just don't change, man.
But all right, look, you haven't even said you haven't even said the guy you're about to say. His name's Paul Arriola. He played for Tijuana, Los Cholos, and he played for DC United for a hot minute. That's where his name was made. He plays for the U.S. men's national team, and he just made a big. Wait, what?
He's been somewhat of a big name for the U.S. national team.
You ruined my groove, but anyways, now he's playing with Dallas, and like a pretty big deal in my opinion because not a lot of MLS teams make deals within the MLS, and Club America in Mexico was supposedly also in the mix to sign him, but he decided to join Dallas in another record-breaking deal supposedly for the league and for the club. So yeah, there you go. I killed all your thunder because I wanted the Thunder.
Yeah, there you go. Congrats.
They acquired him for like a record $2 million in general allocation money. Dude, general allocation money is like the lowest you could get for $2 million.
It is. I mean, that's a pretty big number though.
DC will receive $1.5 million this year and $500,000 in 2023, plus up to $300,000 in conditional future general allocation money based on performance. DC would receive 30% of any transfer fee if Arriola moves outside of MLS. What? Look, see, he's going to America. This is some BS. He's going to America for sure.
Probably. I know they were really close to getting him this time around, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there again. Like if he's in talks with them again. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he played for Tijuana. Come on, bro.
Yeah. I meant again as in Liga MX.
Estadio Caliente. Is that the name of the stadium, right?
That is, yeah. I really want to attend a game there one day. I heard it's really fun.
No,
they sell a cup of noodles at the games.
Shut the hell up.
Honestly, I'm not
You're a
kidding.
fool.
Honestly,
I can't
that's
believe you're
probably
actually bringing this up.
one of the best things at any soccer stadium
I
ever.
hate you so much. Hey, do you know they sell cup of noodles at this soccer stadium?
They do, man. You're gonna tell me you're not gonna enjoy some
All
cup
right,
of
look.
noodles on a
Dignity Health,
cold.
Dignity Health serves Benihana, and Bank of California serves Trejo's Tacos.
True, and
And you're
Estadio
coming.
Caliente has cups of noodles, man. That
And let me guess, they have bottles of tapatio on the side. Probably do.
I think you can add it on like
However,
with like the lemon, dude. It's amazing.
You're a fool.
I'd get it.
But anyways, besides talking about that, Alfred, whatever, Rusnak also moved to Seattle, which was probably another big name MLS signing, moving clubs within the league. Moved from RSL to Seattle. What do you think about that, Jeremy? I know you had some words pre-podcast.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest moves like in the league, aside from Paulo Arriola going to FC Dallas. Rusnak was, I think, the best player on Real Salt Lake. And this is why Seattle continues to stay very good, because they make moves like this, and this is, I think, again, a big reason why Seattle is going to remain competitive, not just this year, but maybe for the next couple seasons at least. Really big signing for him. I think it's what keeps him at the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
I feel like you've put him right next to what's his name? Rui Diaz. And what's the other fool's name? I'm blanking out. There's 2 other fools that
there's Nico Lodero.
Yeah, Lodero and
Christian Roldan.
Roldan's good. His brother's okay.
Yeah, Alex Roldan is there.
Jordan Morris.
Yeah, Jordan Morris came back. Oh, that's such a talented roster.
I know. And then who's the goalie? I remember. I'm blanking on his.
Is it Ethan Horvath?
No, it's not Ethan Horvath. What the hell?
Kidding. No, I'm totally mixing that.
But you know who I'm talking about. We're blanking out. But anyways. But yeah, Seattle's got a good team. I mean, because they've kept them all together. So Brian Spencer knows something we don't.
Oh, Stephen Fry.
Fry, there you go. Yeah,
that's the Fry. Seattle's goalie. It just came to me.
But all yeah, that club's got it kind of all locked because they've kept most of the same people, and that's what I feel like a lot of teams all around the world, like a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, like a Liverpool, like or a Tottenham, like they more or less have the same squad. They just add bits and pieces here and there, and that's how they stay good. Right?
How they stay relevant, correct?
Yeah, they stay relevant. So I feel like that's what's worked for Seattle. So hopefully Rusnak with Seattle helps them not just stay consistent, but also elevate their game. Because they could be doing the same shit and then fall behind very quickly. Like this other team that just signed a new guy who was the standard in the MLS, but now have sadly fallen and crashed into the ground ever so slightly. LA Galaxy, and the last guy we're going to say about Douglas Costa. We got to see him play a little bit. What did you think about his first game performance with the LA Galaxy?
I felt like it was about average. You could see the individual moments of brilliance from him, what made him, the great player at Bayern and at Juve. But I think, he didn't even play in a preseason game. So
no, he did not, to my knowledge.
Yeah, so
he barely got his work visa this week as well. He did practice with the team, but that's different.
Yeah, it's not the same as playing, in a game at full speed. So I think Costa's going to take a little bit of time to get adjusted to MLS. But there were moments where I liked the way he played. He got a couple shots on his left foot. There was one early on in the first half that I was really impressed with. There was also a very close assist that he got. He gave a little through ball to Cabral in the box. Cabral got a shot off, but the goalie blocked it. But there's little moments like that where I think he just needs to click with the team. But I think Costa is going to be I think he's going to perform better with us than he did with Gremio in the Brazilian league last season, where he only provided I think 3 goals and assists combined, something like that. So
I think he was just I think he's just not properly game fit yet. He had 2 shots on goal, so somewhere out there he's gonna get a goal, or I want to say maybe 7, in my opinion. But yeah, you can see there's flashes of brilliance, some creativity out there that I feel like the team's been lacking. He didn't play mid, right? He didn't play midfield. He played
on the wing, I think.
Yeah, but a winger, but he was still coming inside, and Araujo was still following him, overlapping.
Yeah, it was still good though. I mean, I know he got.
It was a good first game, but he's going to need to improve, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to build off of it,
because MLS is a very long season. So, yeah, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Correct.
But yeah, I feel like we've gone over a few notable names. I mean, we could take a quick dive into which teams will still be good. Just based off of the standing, well, not based off of just name and notoriety in the league. I just want to point out, I feel like Philly's gonna have another good season. They usually play consistent. I don't know. Something tells me Austin's gonna have a good season, considering they still are an expansion team. They still have expansion money.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why. I don't like teams from Texas, so knock on wood. If I don't sound a gut feeling. I want to say Orlando's going to be good. Atlanta, I think they're going to have a bounce back year.
I think Atlanta's going to be the sleeper, not necessarily sleeper because they're a big team, but I really think that they can give any team in the Eastern Conference a run for their money.
And then I feel like Seattle. Okay, so besides the past 2 seasons, Seattle has looked really good, even though they always do have deep playoff runs. If we revert back past those 2 years where they made it to MLS Cup consistently, those years where they made it, they didn't make the playoffs with a dominating season. They made the playoffs with consistent and, how would you say, desperation play to win. Because they were never good in the beginning of the seasons. Am I right or am I right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, and I believe you are correct.
Always bottom of the table, and for no reason at all, they sneak into the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, they kill you.
They get hot at the right time.
They kill you. So I have a feeling Seattle. I know it's just day one, but I don't know. I was expecting a better performance from this team from this opening weekend. So hopefully, I mean, I probably am wrong. And overall, the only part I'm right is that they'll make the playoffs, but I'm probably just wrong over my analysis over the first game. Hopefully Portland's good still. Maybe near NYCFC will play okay. I don't know. They were in mid-table all year. There was one stat thing that I looked up that said they were good. And I thought, you guys are crazy. But then again, that MLS is weird. And yeah, I was right. Crazy prediction, but MLS is weird and it makes sense. For me, I know I'll let you speak in a moment. Sorry, but for me, the teams are gonna suck. Houston didn't get nobody,
and they got a new coach.
Salt Lake didn't get nobody. Chicago Chicago got somebody, but I don't think they're gonna play good. Charlotte got nobody. Cincinnati I don't even think they spend any money, honestly. They're gonna suck for sure. And let's see where Vancouver is at the end of the season, because they turned it around halfway through the season after they fired their manager after a depressing loss in the Canadian Championship to, I don't even know what division they are, but the Canadian Premier League. They have their new I guess you could say professional league there that just started a couple years ago. They lost in their Canadian Championship tournament, and after that they snuck into the playoffs. Let's see where they are at the end of the season. And I'd like to point out New England, they're also in that gray area for me, because they played well with the addition of Bruce Arena coming in, But was Josie Altidore at the front? I don't know where this team is headed. And I guess LAFC. Let's see where they are if Carla Vela stays healthy. I mean, are there any teams? I mean, like any teams that are going to surprise you? I mean, do you think New York is still going to be good?
I think New York could still be maybe a top 4 seed, maybe top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. I know. I mean, as far as I remember, Tati Castellanos is still playing on the team. He was a Golden Boot winner for last season. So as long as they can kind of manage through this first bump, they can kind of get over that championship hangover, come back, perform well, I think they'll be fine. I'm not too worried about them. Honestly, I think Nashville is going to be a bit of a surprise for people. I think they're going to give teams a lot of trouble this year. I think they can sneak into the playoffs. So that should be interesting to kind of look at. I'm a little bit, I think I'm just falsely being positive, but I think New England is going to have a pretty good season just based on how their roster is constructed. Are they going to be the number 1 seed in the East? I don't think so. I still think that Philadelphia or maybe even Atlanta can take that.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's looking to bounce back really hard.
Yeah, I'm really high on Atlanta this year. I really think, they have a new head coach as well, but Atlanta's always
the old assistant coach from Seattle. He's picked at the mind of Brian Schmelzer. I have a feeling he knows what he's doing. Was he? I think a Mexican international at some point.
I think so. His name is Gonzalo
Pinedo.
Yeah.
And if I know one thing, growing up with USA versus Mexico, the Mexican teams love counterattacks. They love running with the ball. That's what. Guess what? One of their former head coaches coaches the Mexican team now, and what do? Counterattack, run with the ball. And that's what their head coach still does right now. And when Atlanta was rolling, they were sprinting, counterattacking, and they hit you hard with the counter. And guess what? That's their strengths. You already saw it with Araujo. So, I mean, if he comes back, hopefully he just, pulled a hammy. Him tag teaming with Joseph Martinez. And if Dom Dwyer is coming back from the dead, these guys are in a world of pain.
They are, yeah. Atlanta's going to be a really good team. So they're a team I'm really high on. And I mean, as always, Seattle's a team to keep an eye on just based on talent alone. I think they can make a deep run in the playoffs. But if you put them in with a little bit of structure and a good formation, they're extremely hard to break down. I think like I said earlier, I think the blip against Nashville, a 1-0 loss, is not going to happen too often. I think they're better than that, and I think they'll bounce back for sure. It's going to be a fun season for sure all across the board. I'm really hoping that one of the LA teams can be relevant. I'm leaning more towards Galaxy, obviously, but yeah, I think like I said, as long as Vela stays healthy, he's going to be in the MVP conversation. Same with Joseph Martinez, could be up there as well. Both of them could be with the Golden Boot. I mean, and then you throw in Rui Diaz from Seattle, another potential Golden Boot winner. I mean, there's just a lot of talent across the board. And I think I'll make a bold prediction here. Well, not necessarily bold, but I think both LA teams can make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, same.
So I think
Chicharito, because Chicharito, he was like 3rd or 4th in Golden Boot standing, and he only played half the games last season. He scored a lot of goals halfway through the season, and he got hurt, and then he missed like a month, which I thought low-key was like a playoff tactic in which they were trying to save him. Because tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of MLB teams do that for their pitchers. How many times us, as me and you being Dodger fans, have seen Clayton Kershaw disappear for 10 days, 30 days a season, like periodically for no reason. And it's like, all right, it's obvious you're saving him for the playoffs, But I don't know. It was just a weird thing because he hurt his hamstring. It was like, all right, he'll be out for 2 weeks. Then it was 3 weeks. Then it was 4 weeks. Then it was a month. So I mean, if he stays healthy as well, because then where are they gonna get goals from? You're not gonna get them from Costa. I mean, you get them from Jovic.
Yeah, Joel should be a good pick.
So I mean, he'd be your only pick. He's their only backup striker. But you know, this Galaxy team is going to be interesting to watch because yeah, they're up in the air, but you add consistent MLS players like Raheem Edwards and who's the other guy that they added?
You got Mark Delgado, who came
Yeah,
from Toronto.
He's no longer Marky Delgado, by the way. He's just Mark Delgado.
Mark.
He's like I'm Mark now. Well, you better be Mark because you can't be missing shots like that one time you missed the game-winning goal against Chivas Guadalajara in the CONCACAF Champions League final, and you missed the goal. I still remember that. Don't think I am gonna forget that, bro.
It's not gonna happen, man.
People be like, I don't know who this is, but I'd be like, I know who he is.
Well,
he misses goals, but he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker, though.
Yeah, more experience this time around, so he should be good for the Galaxy.
But yeah, so hopefully our predictions are all 100% and we're not wrong. For me, to give down the playoff line, for me, the East, I want to see Philly, Atlanta. Well, no in particular order. Philly, Atlanta. I'm gonna say Toronto for fun. New York City. New England, and my final two, I'm gonna give it to Montreal. And dang, who's gonna be the last team from the East? I don't know. This is hard.
And there's a lot of decent teams in the East, but I mean, you can kind of take your pick. There's
and screw it, DC.
Pretty good picks.
Who would you say in the East would make the playoffs?
I for sure think it has to be, again, like I said, in no order, but Philly, Atlanta, got to go with Nashville.
Nashville's in the West.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm thinking Tennessee. Okay, so scratch that.
Don't think geography. Think
yeah,
weird MLS.
Yeah,
I even wrote it down here in our notes. This league is weird.
Conferences are so weird. Yeah.
Okay, so you said
Atlanta,
Philly, Atlanta.
I'm gonna go with New York.
Red Bull or City?
City. The defending champs.
NYC.
Yeah, I think Columbus goes.
Columbus looks okay.
New England also has to go. I really think, yeah, they have a talented roster. Did I say Toronto already?
No.
So Toronto.
You got one more.
They're up and coming for sure. I think the last team that goes in, I'm going to go ahead and I'll pick Orlando.
You know what? Yeah, I'm taking out DC. I'm putting in Orlando. I don't know why I skipped over them. I'm so dumb.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I think Orlando is going to be a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to make the playoffs at least. I think so. I'll go ahead and stick with them as my 7 teams that make the playoffs.
Yeah, it looks like they have a good team. I like their goalkeeper. Solid squad.
Gallese, yeah, he's good. He's really good.
For the West, give me I'm like looking at the list. I'm not no one's popping out. All right, Kansas City. Give me Nashville. Give me Seattle. Give me LAFC. Give me Galaxy. And then give me Portland. And I'm gonna say Minnesota because Minnesota is ride or die.
Okay.
There's probably a team I'm gonna be like, damn, why didn't I say them?
pretty good picks. I would say so. I'm gonna go with the 2 LA teams. This is no order, no particular order.
Yeah.
So Galaxy and LAFC. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with Portland as one of the teams.
That's your third one.
Yeah. So I'll go Sounders because they got to get in. Sporting Kansas City also has to get in. I'm gonna say Dallas makes it.
Ooh. That's your wild card.
I think Dallas has a talent to make it.
That's a wild card pick for me.
I'll go even more wild. I think
you have your last one. Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
I'll go a little more wild. I think Dallas can make anywhere between the 3rd and 5th seed. One of those. I think they can get up there. The last team I'm gonna probably pick.
That's a stretch.
I think I'll go with Minnesota as well.
Yeah, there you go. All right. No, Colorado won the West last year. It looks like they're gonna go back into mediocrity again.
I agree. They didn't do anything to reinforce their team. They lost their best player, Kellen Acosta, to LAFC.
He didn't even want to go there. He wanted to go to Europe. He's so pissed.
Yeah, so now he's gonna make him pay, by having them out of the playoffs. So I definitely agree though. Colorado's going on a downward slope. We're gonna see him drop back to mediocrity. They crashed out of the CONCACAF Champions League, losing to Comunicaciones in a penalty shootout at home.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they've done that where they play good, they make it to CCL, and then they suck.
You're right.
They're always a flash in the pan. I think it was 2017, 2018 they did that. Flash in the pan, dropping back down to mediocrity.
Yeah.
It's like they save their money for one good season every couple years, and then they buy someone really good, and then they suck again. It's like once that money runs out, they go back to where they came from. They go back to square one. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting them to make a whole lot of noise this season, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no Salt Lake either, because I don't think they're gonna recover.
Me neither.
I don't think Bobby Wood is enough for them.
I almost forgot that Bobby Wood plays for Raw Salt Lake.
Yeah, exactly.
Just goes to show you where they're at. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's like our wannabe top 7. But who do you think will win MLS Cup, in your opinion? Who has a shot? Who's got the juice?
I sound like a broken record saying this, but I really think Seattle's gonna take it. To me, top to bottom, they have the best roster, the deepest roster. They have the most complete team. I think that, like you said, they stuck together. This is a group that has been together for quite some time, so they have really good chemistry. And I don't see another team competing with them, at least in the West. I'll go ahead and say that the MLS Cup final will be Seattle versus Atlanta, and I'm going to take Seattle winning it in the very end.
At which stadium? At whose stadium?
I think they'll host it in Seattle.
So Seattle's going to be a higher seed than Atlanta.
I think so.
Interesting. For me, and I don't give a damn, I'll be a homer all day because I can't say. Well, first, I can't say that they're not going to win. But give me LA Galaxy all day, every day, just because.
That's bold. That
is bold, because I think they're going to be in the middle of the pack, and the last team that was in the middle of the pack to win it won it all. So why not?
It's not a bad hope.
So I don't know who's going to be in the final because, like I said, MLS is weird. But hey, give me LA Galaxy versus New England again, because LA Galaxy is going to win that battle every day. But if another team were to win MLS Cup, I would be okay with Philadelphia winning, because I feel like they really deserve it. They've a club built by supporters through and through. So I feel like, yeah, that's my main pick. My main pick is the Galaxy pick, though.
Okay. I like the Philly pick, though. I'm a big fan of Andre Blake, their goalkeeper. He's been one of the more exciting keepers to watch.
Guan from Jamaica, bro.
Yeah, he's super fun to watch. One of the top, I would say top 3, top 5 goalies easily in the league.
Yeah.
So
I'll go
back. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll go back and say top 3 because he's really good. So I wouldn't be mad if Philly ended up winning the whole thing. I'm still gonna say Seattle though. I'll stick with them.
Yeah, a consistent pick.
A broken record, but I mean, I know a lot of people say that every year, but it's just the truth. They're built for championship runs, and it shows with how good they are every year.
Because how many times did they win it? They won it like twice, 2 and 3 years. Because they lost it to Toronto, then they won it in Toronto, and then they won it at home.
Yeah, so.
And then they went back to the MLS Cup Finals. However, they did lose to Columbus But hey, what are you gonna do?
The more important thing is like they're getting there. They're knocking on the door. And I think this is going to be another year where they knock on the door, except this time they actually just knock the whole door down and go in and take it themselves.
I don't. There you go. But yeah. I mean, is there anything else you'd like to add, really quick, about the MLS season as we're wrapping up our little preview here?
Well, just because it is a World Cup year and the World Cup is scheduled to start in November 21st. Typically, World Cups happen in the summer for the non-soccer fans who don't know. And this year, the MLS started a little bit earlier than normal. We're at the end of February. Normally, we start in March, so it's not that much of a bump. But the way the schedule's panned out, October will be playoffs. November, I think the first weekend of November is going to be the final. And then that's it. We head off to the World Cup. So expect a lot of big performances, a lot of exciting flashes, a lot of just overall drama across the board with MLS. It's if you haven't had a chance to check it out, go to a game, go watch a game somewhere, learn about the players. You don't even have to root for a team. If you can just go and kind of just check out a couple big name players, you'll kind of see why the sport is as popular as it is. It's honestly, like I said, I think soccer is globally known, and it's no matter where you are, you can watch soccer at any given point, so give it a shot, check it out, especially check out the Galaxy because they're going to be a fun team to watch.
And because you're wearing a Galaxy sweater right now?
Hey, the fans don't know that, all right?
Hey man, you gotta let the listeners know. This is a audio only podcast, so you gotta let them know what's up.
That's right.
But yeah, I think that is everything for today. Just start wrapping up here in like 2 seconds. Once again, this was our Rambling RunOff Podium Show MLS Cup recap and preview edition. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find us at Off Rambling. If you're on Instagram, you can find us at Rambling RunOff. Once again, we're also on TikTok. Just look up Rambling RunOff. Thank you for listening. If you're on Twitter, if you're listening to us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. If you're on Spotify, Stitcher, what's another podcast listening platform? Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts.
Google Podcasts.
You got Anchor.
Yeah, there you go. We're on Anchor as well, our hosting site. But thank you for listening. Once again, I'm your host, Robert Rios, for Jeremy Gonzalez, co-hosting for me today here on this Podium Show. Once again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. See ya.